because of the need. At one of the schools in Mumbai, I've always asked my students to learn about different projects through different subjects if they're interested in, whether it's in business or it's in science, shadow somebody in that industry or an industry they want to actually go work experience. If you have attended any of our previous webinars where we've talked to alumni of Ivy League schools, where we've met with the director of the biggest catering So that's where the need comes in, where we talk to the students and we said, you know what, you need to go and get some sort of experience, whether it's virtual or real. But the aim is to learn skills. The aim is not to really do work, but to understand that industry, understand what they're teaching you, and learn and imbibe from them. That's where the need came in, and that's where we found a solution. Because then if you're in COVID, you really can't go out and do a physical a physical internship, because that's not available to you right now. And that's the dream which came about. We said, this is the need of the hour, how do we deliver something like this? And that's where we contacted Kaushik, who's been brilliant. He's a brilliant young man who has come up. He's himself an entrepreneur who teaches at Jamnalal Bajaj, which is one of the biggest and greatest MBS colleges of Mumbai. So if you've not heard and you want to do this, is an aspirational school for you in Mumbai and in India, if you're looking at it. So he teaches there, and he came up with a brilliant program direction of how are we going to teach. The aim of the program of virtual internship is twofold. It's different from anything out there. We looked at it, we found, I've got a lot of people who wrote into me to say, this is an internship, this is an internship. But what I realized was, like a Coursera or an edX, and these are online platforms where students are learning, but there nobody is helping you understand that subject. You're doing it on your own. So if you're getting a virtual internship by a third company based not in Bombay or somewhere else, what is happening is those companies are giving you a virtual internship without actually helping you understand it with a mentor, with somebody who's guiding you through the process, somebody who's coordinating it, somebody who's teaching you the basic skill set to allow you to be successful, allow you to be a problem solver. That's why this program was designed, not only with the aim of providing you with a company which will give you an internship, but they themselves are the directors of these companies who will mentor students. The aim for a young college student or a young school student is not really to get internships as a way of earning money, but a way of learning skills. Once you learn the skills, you can then go into the industry. You might figure out two things. One, do I actually like this profession? Am I getting an understanding of it? And two, what are my skills that I'm developing? Am I learning lateral thinking? Am I learning to work in a group in a professional capacity to give back a project to them, right? So there are two different skill sets you're learning at this age, at the age that you're currently at. So that's why this program came about, where we said we're going to bring in the best of the best. We brought in one of the best professors to design the curriculum. We brought in mentors for some of the best companies to give internships with meaning to students, where they themselves will mentor students. On the weekends, they're going to give you time. At such young age, at just college age or just school age, very difficult to get mentors who are willing to give their own personal time rather than pass you off to a second or third person. And the other problem we tried to solve is, a lot of students came back and said, we don't want to work for our parents. Okay, we said, go and intern with your parents on the holidays. They said, no, no, no. Don't give us internship with parents. We really want to learn. Maybe it's marketing, maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's understanding a completely different genre, but we want to work with somebody who is in a different field from our own parents, or learn to work across. So that was the backdrop of this program coming together. And thank you all for joining this evening. And I'm going to ask Kaushik sir to come online and tell us a little bit about what is the structure of this program, how are we going to deliver this. And through this program, we will be posting, so you might ask, what is the time frame of this program? I'll answer that question. So be patient with me. What is the cost of this program? What is the duration? I will answer all these questions as and when. And we will also get some of the mentors who are available, because they're based all over India, to come online and explain their companies and explain the kind of projects they're giving, right? So over to you, Kaushik, if you can start off with explaining what is the VIP program about and what is going to be the structure of it.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Sonam. Thanks for the very kind introduction. And thank you, Dr. Jain also. All right, good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and kids. I mean, I first of all want to thank all of you all for registering for this webinar. Even if you do not join up for the course itself, the fact that you've come this far also shows that you are, initiative taking. this course is really designed for students who want to get an exposure to the real world while still balancing the fact that they are very young, they are impressionable, they don't know what the corporate setup is going to be like. So we're going to kind of really handhold them into the deep end. We don't want to just throw them into the deep end, but we're going to handhold them through all the way there. We are going to cover a lot of important management-based principles. We are going to talk about strategy. We're going to talk about the digital ecosystems. But we're going to make it fun for these kids. We're going to take a lot of examples. We're going to take a lot of activities. We're going to talk about the Indian cricket team. We're going to talk about Manchester United. I mean, I'm sure most of the kids can talk about Pogba all day long. We're going to talk about some video games. We're going to talk about a lot of real world situations and real world applications of textbook learning. We have some really brilliant mentors in mind. We have 7 projects lined up with 7 mentors, spanning from sustainable energy to marketing to CRM and internal processes of corporations. And really just the time from these individuals is going to be very, very important for these kids, because it's going to help mold how they themselves become as professionals. We are going to guide them on their presentation skills and report writing, and most importantly about their CV writing. All right. So we do want these kids to really beef up on this. We want them to get the right mindset going into the corporate world, because at this stage, really, we are actually shaping them in a much better fashion than we would be at a much higher level with more seasoned students, like at an MBA level. So we need to actually get into the thought process and the focus of the child's brain and make sure that they're getting it into the right track for the corporate life. And we're going to coach them through all of this, through making the report, making the presentation, and they're going to come out with fantastic learnings. You know, really, this isn't just one internship that these kids are doing. It's going to end up as 7 projects that they're doing, because there's going to be a lot of communal learning. Because whatever these students pitch, they're going to pitch to all of their peers in this program. So they're going to get learnings from all of their classmates. And really, at the end of it, they're going to walk away with one detailed project and a lot of learnings from 6 other projects. And you know, really, any other internship is not going to give them this. When they go into a real world internship at a much later stage in life, they're going to get a role, they're going to work on it, they're going to report back, and that's it. So this is going to be a very good balance and a very good stepping stone to getting them to that level. Then they're going to be a lot more confident because of this course. They're going to be able to go out there and say that, okay, you know what, I got a first-hand glimpse at what it might be like, while still staying in the comfort of their own home. I mean, let's face it, the pandemic may have completely changed how all of us are going to work in the future. And it's not a bad thing. You know, they need to learn how to take these kinds of opportunities, and they are opportunities. They need to take these opportunities in stride with a smile on their face and face it with success as an inevitable consequence. I mean, I think that covers the entire thing. Mrs. Mundra, would you like to add something?
Yeah, so Kaushik, that's wonderful. And so I have 2 questions for you from the basis from what the students are asking.
Okay.
Can you just walk the students through just maybe the pre-internship? So the way it has been structured, to say that before the internship actually begins, maybe on a Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we are looking at building pre-internship skills. So what would be the details of that?
All right. That's a fantastic question.
And just to add, we have some business students. We also have engineering students as well who have joined us. And just to say that, yes, it is useful for all disciplines, whether you're studying engineering, you're already in college, or you're a school student who's building a resume. We have a wide audience, right from the school students as well as those who are already part of the college system.
Right. Okay. So first of all, I'll address the first question. The pre-internship phase is going to cover a lot of very important fundamentals of strategy and of digital ecosystem within the modern world. Really, what are the kind of tools that are required to flourish in a corporate setting, and to actually shape and design a project to move it along in a structured manner to get meaningful learnings out of it. See, there's a lot of information overload with a lot of things very widely available on the internet, but we need to make sense out of this chaos and come out in a very structured manner. Now, in this entire thing, we're also going to cover a lot of things such as sending.
So I think, if I can add to what Kaushik is saying, one of the things he told me about, one of the fun things that the kids will be doing is learning how to do an elevator pitch. How do you think the word elevator pitch came about? An elevator pitch literally came about when somebody was trying to pitch an idea to Steve Jobs in an elevator. So you have 90 seconds to convince Steve Jobs that he must call you in for an interview. So how do you portray yourself? How do you sell yourself? How do you come across as a confident person? And exactly in 90 seconds till the elevator reaches that person's exact spot, explain to them that I am it. You need to call me in for an interview. That's an elevator pitch. And that's one of the first things that Kaushik's going to teach you as a pre-training program. Because unless you learn skills, you can't deliver an actual project. That's the entire point of having somebody who's a stalwart in the faculty, as a teaching faculty, to come on board. So one of the first things the students will learn is how to do an elevator pitch. They will learn how to do exercises and case studies which are already taught at Jamnalal Bajaj at an MBA level, or at Harvard and Princeton and different places, but at a much lower level, at the level that the students will understand. But through case studies, also learn how are you going to deal with issues and problems that might come across your way while you're trying to solve a problem for the company that you're doing a project with. In addition, one of the key things that Kaushik mentioned is learning how to develop your CV, which is your resume. How is your resume built? What are the skills you need to put in it? What are the characteristics that one should actually display? It's not about just grades, but it's also about what are the skills you have learned, what are the things, the different things that you're learning that you put in it, which allows, when I've been working with lots of different companies, and Kaushik also, and I'm sure we come across all these people. In fact, only last week in our alumni talk, we had, one of our alumni was working at McKinsey. And he said, you know what, honestly, they're not looking for Ivy League students in McKinsey, but they're looking for students with the right attitude, with the right skill set and the right attitude. So that's what needs to come out in your CVs. And I think that's one of the key things that Kaushik does teach you, is how do you go about building this individually, building your skill set. Kaushik, you want to add to that?
No, that was very well put. What I do want to focus on is that it doesn't matter whether you're an engineer, whether you're a commerce student, whether you could be studying arts, but if you're going to get into the corporate world, you're going to have to play by the corporate rules. And it doesn't matter whether it is a technology focused project, or whether it's a finance focused project, or if it's a marketing focused project, or it's an operations focused project. It's still a project. So you still have to play by the rules of projects. So this entire internship is going to give you that entire sort of a manual, or that kind of a step-by-step approach to be taken to these projects. So at the end of the day, it's really irrelevant. It's really agnostic to what particular field you end up with, as long as you end up with the right attitude and the right skill set to actually flourish in a corporate world.
And we have a lot of high school students here. So this, I might tell you, is a great way to explore not only a new field, but a new career as well. Knowing what you do like is as important as knowing what you don't like, right? So it's a great learning first step to do an internship, just to get that learning experience of, like Kaushik said, about a corporate setup, actually delivering a project to a company, and in a very tight time frame. So just to get back to the nitty-gritties of it, This is a 2-week program. It will start on the 22nd of June. It will end on the 3rd of July. It will be held in the evenings so that more students can get a chance, whether you're IB, A-level, engineering, whether you are from the ICSE, CBSE background, from whichever state or city you come in from, you can take part in it. It is going to be an evening program. The timings will be sent to you so that you have an easy way of participating in it. And you will be working with your mentors through the entire process. You will be working in groups and delivering these projects at the end of 2 weeks, where all your mentors, and we'll have external people coming in where you deliver this project to them, right? Any thing you want to add, Manvi or Kaushik, at this point?
Yes, Sonam, I think you summed it up very well. And I think all the projects are actually speaking about taking a lot of consideration on the research skills. So research skills are required in all the fields. It's interdisciplinary. And I think I'm getting personal messages from all the students that, is it for me? Is it for me? And I feel that, yes, it is for all the students, because it's a very interdisciplinary thing. Research skills are required in the science, in marketing, in business, in all the areas. And all the projects, if you can see, we have in IT, healthcare and medicine, financial risk evaluation. And again, Kaushik would be supporting you through all these projects and taking you through various steps of the project. So I think you'll be very skill ready and employable at the end of the day.
Yeah, but the aim, I think, of the entire program is to teach skills in a practical way. Ultimately, in a practical with theory. You can't learn practical without theory because you're too young, right? It has to be done in coordination with each other. So when you do practical learning with theory, it becomes the best combination and sets you up for a long-term learning. Please don't think if this is something which for you is just a short-term thing, or for you this is just something that you're doing for because your parents are forcing you, then please don't do it. It's for people because we have limited seats, because we have limited projects, right? So we want you to want to do this. This is something we've curated especially for students who are keen learners, who want to learn and who are going to go out there and develop skill sets. The aim is to provide a service that allows you to grow as individuals, grow into whoever you want to use. You can use this even in it. I've got students who've done internships and ended up saying, oh my God, this was amazing. I'm going to use it for my extended essay or in my TOK, whether you're an IB student, or I've had students who use their experiences to actually create real projects and use them in their applications. And some students who've done so well, the companies have said, you know what, I want you to do a long-term project with me. So sometimes these internships will not end with just 2 weeks. There might be some projects you could take long-term. You could take it as an actual challenge and take it long-term. But for that, you have to have the right attitude and commitment. You cannot leave anything halfway. And that's something that we're going to teach you in the skills, where we teach you the ability to work for a corporate structure in a systematic manner. And I can see that one of our mentors is already on board. I can see Amita here. And I'd like to welcome Miss Amita on board for coming and giving her time. She's an extremely busy lady, an entrepreneur, and doing some amazing work in healthcare and things like that across the Northeast. And she's willingly giving our students 3 different projects. So I'd like to take it over to Amita to just explain who she is, her company, and the kind of project the students will be doing. Thanks, Amita, for joining us today.
At this stage, I would also like to add my welcome to Amita ma'am and to all the, I can read some engineering students saying, is it for me? Remember in the real world, when you go to work, it won't be a mechanical engineering problem or a marketing problem or a journalistic problem. Probably everybody has to come together to solve a problem. And that's where Amita, when I was talking to her, was really that this is what interdisciplinary learning comes into play. And that is why doing an internship is important. So you don't mentally slot yourself in a discipline, and you realize that when you, no matter what you study, what age you are, all kinds of strengths come together when solving a problem. So over to you, Amita. Has Amita come in?
Yeah, she had, but you have to unmute her.
Okay. Everybody can unmute themselves. I've allowed it. Sorry.
I can't hear Amita.
Yeah, now it's unmuted.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, hi. Hello to everybody, and thank you so much for your brief introduction. When you mentioned this question that if a mechanical engineer can, participate in different kind of projects, or how do we look at interdisciplinary? So this is my life's example only. I am not an engineer. And when I started my company, it was across the sectors, like you mentioned, and I'll just give the brief background. So whoever I met, whether it was a corporate or the government, they asked me, are you an engineer by profession? I mean, how do you handle so many technical things which is related to across sectors, water, environment, tourism, agriculture, technology, AI, ML? I mean, it's cross sectors. So then, so that is something that answers the question that we need not have a very specific background, and it had today everything is very much interconnected and interdisciplinary, and it's very practical on the ground. And I think the way you the more you grow and go into the practical field, this is what is in the end that matters. So I would start with a very brief introduction of my company. So I started in 2010 with my company called Evermore India Private Limited. And we started looking at the gap that existed between the central government and the state governments into different sectors, why projects were not moving, why there were so many allocations that are made across these sectors of operations, and what was the gap that existed. So we started hand-holding the state governments and the central government. So we work in the sectors of water resources, environment and forest, tourism, agriculture, and infrastructure. In all these sectors, we have focused on sustainability as the foundation, and we conceptualize projects for them. We create detailed project reports on behalf of the state government. We represent the state government in these sectors to the central government. After doing that, once the funds are sanctioned, so funds are sanctioned either from the centrally sponsored schemes of the state government, or we procure funding from foreign funding agencies. We also help them in developing the projects and also the technology part of it. So that's how this entire project development to consulting to technology, everything is very, very interconnected. So this is where we have started the journey, and now we have explored into almost all the sectors, including technology in agriculture, technology applications in medicine, in healthcare, and also looking at how to integrate between the requirements that we have on the fundamental policy side, and how to bring from the source to the last mile until the funding and the execution of projects. So this is what my organization is about. Sonam, I can't hear you if you're saying something.
Yeah, thank you, Amita. So what I want to know is
Yes.
how will, suppose I really loved your program on pharmacy. I remember the
Yes.
CI,
Yes.
and it involved marketing of
Yes.
products. So could you just tell us briefly, quickly on what
Sure.
would a student be expected to do if they joined, say, the pharmacy project?
Okay. So pharmacy was conceptualized when we looked at that there are a lot of medicines wherein the basic components of the content of the medicine remains the same, but the branding is deciding its pricing. So we wanted to look at that gap, and we looked at that how are we able to make it affordable and accessible to the end consumers. Because in most of the sectors that we're looking at, there are a lot of, you can call it intermediaries, or you can call it as a part of a supply chain. So we just looked at that what is the possibility wherein we can look at the branded medicines and the generic medicines more affordable and more accessible, and in which we mitigate the dependencies on the distributorship, because anybody, most of the time the suppliers want to reach out to the end customers through the supply chain, and that keeps adding the cost of the medicine, and in the end it is not so affordable by the mass consumption. So when we looked at the pharmacy project, our idea was that we should look around that what should be our marketing activities that we should perform, how should we do a social media marketing, how should we promote something like this which is going to solve the purpose of reducing the cost, reducing the dependency on the distributor model, and it's a direct supplier to the customers. So this is what we are looking at in this project.
So what would be a student's role in it? What would he
So,
do for you?
so a student, I'm expecting to work on a social media marketing plan for a pharmacy, what we're looking at. And there should be some research in which there can be comparisons made on the existing platforms. So, I can also share, I don't know if we were able to share with the students so far, that other existing platforms like 1MG or Pharmacy and NetMeds and others, and how they are able to, what are they doing and how we can position ourselves and reduce that costing and be more accessible. So the student should be able to do the research on the basis of the existing platforms. What are the existing platforms? What is it that they're providing? And how can we become accessible and reduce those costs? And also study the distributors model currently.
Okay, so for students who've joined in, the
Yes.
way it will work is that in the pre-internship, Kaushik sir will take you through. We understand that some of you may never have done an engineering project before, sorry, but it will also, or a pharmacy project or a business project, it could be first time for you. So what exactly does a real life project entail? So that when Amita ma'am or Harshad or any of your mentors gives you a project, you will know how to go about it, what are the tools you use, and what we say, what is the final project report, what are the headings, what are you supposed to do, what are the tools. Suppose you have to make a survey monkey, then what is a survey monkey? How do you design the questions? How do you use it to do, say, maybe a rival survey? Just to give you a quick example to take it from where Amita left, that suppose it's pharmacy and it is looking at delivering medicines online. So who are the rivals in that space? So you do a sort of a customer rival or industry rival survey, and you develop a report for her on what are other people doing, and what is the best way that company can design a strategy for the future. Am I right, Amita? That is what you would expect from them? Sorry.
To unmute her.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
Briefly,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so I just want to add to this that
Yes.
students, once you join in, will be asked about the top 3 choices of different projects or companies. You will be explained all the different varieties. And based on your skill set, based on what we have learned from you, we will do an interview, and then you can select the different projects that you want to be a part of. We will ask you for your top 3 choices and definitely try and accommodate you in the top 3 choices that you have given us. And based on some basic learning, basic aptitude, abilities, and mapping what you want to do, we will try and put you in the different projects based on your skill set also. You might want to be something in the financial sector, but you don't have the skills that they require you to have, then you can't do that internship. So we will map you with what is the right internship for you, and also take into consideration what you would like to do. This will happen in the day 2 or day 3 of the program actually having started. Yeah, that's the structure of the program. So that gives you an understanding of lots of different fields, learning a basic amount of skill set, and then doing an interview, which is really how you actually get a job, and going through that process before you get into the different companies that are mapped out for you. Right? You can
And
definitely.
let me add, after reading the chat, that it is not limited to medical students. Technically, it's pharma, but it's marketing. So that is what we mean, that you will be doing interdisciplinary learning. And Amita, can you tell us about your second project?
I had shared several projects which
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Manvi?
So can you talk about the power banking project, Amita?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the power banking and power exchange, we are aiming at that. If we look at across the country and the geographies and the the asset, when we divide the entire country, we'll see that there are some states which are which has solar power. Some states, like you look at the Arunachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, these states have a lot of potential for hydropower projects. Now, when we talk about power banking and power exchange, we are looking at that how are we able to strengthen each other, whether it's each sector, whether it's a solar from Maharashtra, for example, is able to strengthen Arunachal for example, and how they are able to power bank with each other. So today, if you see that Maharashtra, of course, has solar capability or solar availability all the year round, but that's not the case with Uttarakhand or Arunachal in that case. So what we want to look at that, of course, and there are policies also that has been developed, that each state has power purchase obligation towards hydropower. So in this project, we have picked up specific sector of Maharashtra and of Arunachal Pradesh. There was a policy that was announced by the government which mentioned about 50,000 megawatt of power generation in Arunachal Pradesh. Now, of course, as on today, that much of ambitious project has not taken place so far, but there is a huge potential. Now, that potential Maharashtra is deprived of in hydro. So we are looking at, by the end of as the outcome of the program, that Maharashtra government should be able to make the investment in hydropower projects in Arunachal Pradesh and be able to get the power back to the grid to Maharashtra after giving enough power, maybe 25% or 10%, whatever the state of Arunachal wants. And the surplus, of course, the numbers can be decided and then given back to Maharashtra. So this is something that we want to work on, the asset availability. And this is a very strategic model that is being developed now, and it's also a part of the government's policy. So we would expect the student to, of course, go through some of the policies that the government has already framed, and to be able to make an assessment towards that how these policies are able to help the governments, and how this is something that can be looked at and looked forward to by these state governments, and not compete with each other but collaborate with each other. So this is
Thanks, Amita. The project sounds very exciting. So we've got one in power, one in pharma, and we've got more projects coming up from our different mentors. But thank you, Amita, for coming online today and really, just sharing what your company does. It's amazing the kind of industry that you're in and the kind of work that you're doing across India. So thank you. I think this will be a very interesting project. It does not matter which sector students that you want to work in finally. It's a matter of collaboration. It's a matter of, it's interdisciplinary. That's the aim of doing a project in any of these sectors. Honestly, it's figuring out whether this is an interesting sector or not. And right now, the two industries that Amita has mentioned are growth industries, to be quite fair. These are the industries which are changing the way future is happening within India and outside, both power and pharma. And you would be lucky to get a mentor like her and a mentor of this caliber to be able to teach you a little bit more about their industry. So thank you, Amita, for taking time off and joining us today.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you, Amita, for joining us.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay, so while we wait for our second mentor to join us, I'm going to tell you about the Facebook project that we've got. Unfortunately, Mr. Atish Ajain could not join us because he's obviously in California and his timing does not work. So the project that we've got from Facebook is based on marketing analytics, and it will be based on a product that Facebook is recently launching and would like you as students to do a market survey with them and do an analytic report with them looking at rival products. So that's the project that Facebook will be giving our students, and they will be handpicked for Facebook because I know a lot of you would want to work with them, but it will be based on an interview, and it could be your top 3 choices, and we'll definitely try and accommodate you based on what he thinks, and he will pick his team accordingly, right? So that's one of the projects that we are getting from Facebook, and he couldn't join us. Manvi, would you want to talk about the real estate project as well?
Yeah, I think I'll talk about the real estate project, Sonam, but I think Vishesh has already joined us. So I'll,
brilliant. Yeah. So can you introduce Vishesh, and then he can come and talk about the project that they're getting
So
done.
Mr. Vishesh Agarwal is here with us. He's handling solar power projects, and he's a very young, successful entrepreneur working with his dad, and he's diversified into a lot of other sectors too. So I will hand it over to Vishesh. Vishesh, can you please?
I think I need to unmute him. I can't see him.
He's there.
Sorry, Manvi, will you unmute him?
I'm not able to unmute him actually.
Okay. Yeah, I can see him. I'll unmute him. Yeah. Yeah, Vishesh, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Vishesh, can you
Okay, I think there is some issue with the network.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
my name is
so it's better.
Agarwal, and I
Okay, just to, but
am the CEO
Bijal, will you unmute Sonam?
at
Ask you.
New Energy Renewables Private
Yeah.
Limited. So I'm going to start off giving a small introduction about me and the.
I think his network is bad, so I think he had to disconnect and he'll
Yeah.
come back. Manvi, in the meantime, can you explain to the students about the real estate project that we have?
So yes, so we have a real estate project from M3M Real Estate, and we have two projects from them. One is in marketing and marketing, sales, and CRM, where the student would be working on competitor research and marketing analytics for the real estate firm. And the second project they have is in IT software, where they want to understand all the capacities the real estate can use in IT, and they want to do a software mapping for them. So again, all the IT students in the first year and the second year, and even 11th and 12th students looking to take up computer science, they would be able to map the IT requirements for the real estate firm and all the things that go into the CRM of the company. So that is what the real estate project is all about.
Brilliant. So what we've tried to do in this thing is try to cater to different industries and try to give different skill sets to students. So whether you're interested in pharma, whether you're interested in technology, engineering, STEM. Another question which came to me is, can I do a STEM internship in this? Definitely. Even if it's a research-based project, but if it's in pharma, it becomes a STEM project, right? So if it's STEM, or if you want to do something in pharma, it could be IT. We have a lot of variety of projects. A lot of them could also be in the business field. For example, marketing analytics is a balance between people who are interested in computers as well as in business and marketing. So it's a balance. So it depends on what you're looking for, and that is one of the projects that we do have.
So
In
Siddesh
addition,
has been asking, Siddesh, do you have any particular question that you want to ask? Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
okay.
So another important aspect of the whole process is also to give you an idea on uh, what is it that you enjoy, because currently social media marketing, sales and marketing, economic analysis, making an impact. So to give you an idea of the solar project that Vishesh will be talking about, today we are saying that solar energy is renewable energy and that is what we all should use. But why aren't we using it? Is it economically viable? Why aren't manufacturing industries using it? So as an intern, you will learn what is solar project, what does it cost to generate 1 megawatt power, and then how much time does it take for a return on investment? What does it cost to set up a project, and what does it take to get the return on investment? So those are the things that you would learn, and then you would analyze a manufacturing industry and understand what is the investment that you make, and in how much time does the billing reduce. So maybe it's a 3-year project or a 4-year project, and then what can you do to create awareness among.
I think Vishesh has joined us back.
Yeah.
We can have it.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay, great.
Hi, Vishesh. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Sorry about that. The internet connection was just.
Yeah.
Okay, so like I was saying, I'm going to start off by giving a small introduction about myself and the company. And soon I'm going to move on to how this internship can help the students in their life ahead, in their working life ahead. Yeah. So my name is Vishesh Agarwal, and I am the COO at New Energy Renewables Private Limited. I studied business management with a degree in entrepreneurship and marketing, and graduated from Regents University in 2015. And I'm most thankful to Team Edu Abroad for the guidance. and all the help that the team had given me. So company history, our company was started in 2005 under the name of Visa Power Tech Private Limited, with the motive to build solutions in the energy sector. We were manufacturing APFC panels that corrected power factor ratios on a certain load, harmonic filtration systems, and high voltage capacitor banks. These products are all used in manufacturing industries, IT parks, and basically any organization with a large consumption. In 2009, our, our collaboration with Siemens Automation India made our second vertical in the company, home automation and AV integration. This was basically where we design and deliver modern automated homes, which include electrical design and implementation, lighting control with dimmers, sensors, mood boards, etc., curtain drape controls, all with time setting and management, and complete audio video solutions. Then in 2012, we entered the challenging field of renewable energy, where we established our strengths in EPC, which is basically engineering, procurement, and commissioning, and providing turnkey solutions in solar photovoltaic projects. When I say turnkey, I mean everything from land selection and leveling to purchasing all equipments to the construction at site, testing, financial feasibility, commissioning the entire plant, and eventually maintaining it for a lifetime, which is 25 years. Over time, we have experienced the harsh conditions of the solar industry, with government PPA rates at an all-time low and now being introduced to a new solar company almost every week. Besides utility scale projects, we also cater to residentials, industrials, commercials, and all consumers of electricity. We have a solution for all rooftop and ground mounted, grid connected, and battery operated systems. So in a nutshell, overall, the company now has 250 megawatts of solar plants across India, Sri Lanka, and Kenya. This 250 megawatts is basically an accumulated land of over 1,000 acres of only solar modules on it. So that's a brief about our company. In the internship, the student may expect, what can the student expect? Now that you know what exactly it is that we do in our organization, after successfully completing the internship, you will have a clear concept of the energy industry in India, the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. Now, this is one strategic analysis that is widely used in business studies. You'll be required to make other business strategic analysis on the energy industry. Now, you may already know what some of these are, as you must have studied in 11th or 12th or in the first year, such as SWOT, PESTEL, Ansoff matrix, etc. There's a whole wide of them. So this is something that we can try and include in this project. Even though this is all theory, I would suggest that this theory will be only 30% of the time you give to the project, as the remaining time will all go in practical work. The practical of this internship would be selecting a company of your choice and submitting a proposal to them for installing a rooftop solar PV system on their roof. You'll measure the capacity that can fit on the roof, analyze their bills, and eventually submit a proposal to them. At the end of the assignment, the student would have had a complete financial analysis of why a solar project is so attractive, how a company can benefit from solar, and a little bit about how it is beneficial for the environment. You would have learned how to create a balance sheet and a cash flow statement and a profit and loss statement for the project you're pitching, how to calculate some of the ratios that are widely used in the financial world, and why investors might use them to determine the financial health and stability of such a project. Most of the work will be finance related, and we will only work on Microsoft Excel and on Google Earth.
Thank you so much. That sounds really interesting. And I'm sure students, because this is a very, very relevant and viable project for India today. And if more and more of our industries become use solar, then probably we are saving the environment as well as saving a long-term electricity bill. Thank you so much, Vishesh, for joining us. And we will hopefully send you some good resumes for you to choose. This is your program is a selective based, and based on the few that you choose, they will win the internship with your company. Thank you for joining us and giving us your time and your experience. Thank you. I also see now Harshad has joined us. Harshad Daswani has joined us from Bombay, and he has a excellent company, uh, uh, grown from the ground to the top. And I think that what he will have to share about his journey to creating one of the most online platform sales would be a unique experience for students to learn about companies which are currently the vogue. Over to you, Harshad.
Thanks, Dr. Jen, and thanks, Sonam, for inviting me. My name's Harshad Daswani. I'm the founder at The Beach Company, which is Asia's largest online retailer of holiday apparel with a focus on swimwear. So naturally, given the current situation in the last 3 months, we've been beaten down to the ground. Pools are closed, travel is shut. So we've had, fortunately, we've had a good track record. So we've been able to tide over peacefully and happily. But yeah, we're back up, and we face challenges going forward, which would be how to get it back on the road, how to build up sales and infrastructure again, bring clients back. And it isn't only coming to our website to buy, it has to be about awareness, where you can go, how you can go, travel destinations, safety, quarantine rules. We're going to actually have to be more of a information dispensing company than a product selling company now. We're looking to work with young enterprising people like yourselves with a focus on understanding how to reach out and network with not only authorities but also consumers on what's safe, when it's safe, and what they can take from us wherever they go. Currently, our business model seems to be working very well with people who have holiday homes or pools within their houses and residential complexes. But of course, with the opening of hotels and travel soon, international and domestic, we'll get to expand. So we are looking for developing a strategy in the immediate term, which would be a mix of commercial sales and information, using our platforms, whether it's social media, our website, and any other form of electronic mediums like MailChimp and etc. So if anybody has any questions, they can definitely route it through Sonam or Dr. Jen, and I'll be very happy to answer any questions. And I look forward to working with anyone who'd be interested in a social and digital information space to create revenue for a consumer facing business.
Thank you so much. That's very precise, and that's exactly what we wanted. That so it will include skill sets. What kind of skill sets do you think you would need? Because we are going to be interviewing. It is a selection process. It's not allocation. So what kind of skills should we look out for somebody who wants to intern with the beach company?
So I think post COVID, post lockdown, skill sets even in the younger generations will change dramatically, right? What was earlier a very simple cut and dry sales strategy where you have a beautiful graphic and an infomercial will now have to involve data from, especially travel related data, who's going where, how they're going. So you have to broaden your scope of understanding of the space. So we would look for somebody actually who can blend analytical research skills and then make it commercially viable to a consumer facing industry. So I think more than the sales pitch, we're looking for somebody who can come up with comprehensive, coherent, and well researched data on how people will start traveling and swimming, for that matter, as a sport, in the post lockdown 3 months or 6 months. So research and analysis would be very important.
And what tools, Kaushik, would you be able to add to that? What tools do you think they will need to do this kind of research? And will you be able to teach them how to do it?
Yeah, I mean, that is the entire focus of the pre-internship phase, where we would want to equip them with different tools on primary data gathering, on secondary data gathering, on sentiment analysis of what exactly is going on in the marketplace, and also the critical thinking required to leverage the information that we gather from this, and how best to use that to maximize profits and get back on track, as Mr. Daswani very rightly said, recover from the stumble of the pandemic and hit the ground running.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Harshad, for joining us.
Not at all.
Thanks,
It's
Harsha.
a
Thank
busy
you.
time
Thank
for,
you.
yeah, thank you for. So that was good insight for students to choose something which uses the digital economy, which a lot of us are talking about all the time, that we've all become technology driven. And therefore, how is digital economy useful for a business point of view? So it combines a lot of skill sets, analytical thinking, as well as being able to conduct a market survey online.
And like I'd say, one of the things which Kaushik will be teaching, like Vishesh sir said, was he would like people to make a strategic analysis report, which would include a SWOT analysis or a PESTEL and things like that. Don't panic if you don't know what these words mean, but that is exactly something that Kaushik will touch upon. Kaushik, would you like to throw some light into how you would explain things like this, or is this part of your program?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very this is at the heart of the program, really, and part of it is understanding and not getting scared of these terms. We don't want them to get lost in the jargon and understand what is the thought process behind it, what is the spirit of the words, and it's a tool like anything. Just as you might have learned how to use a screwdriver, or you might have learned how to use your cell phone, it's a tool at the end of the day, and it's important that these kids understand that they can use it, that they already have this understanding capability, and then once we equip them with that, they'll get so much more confidence, and they'll feel so much more at ease to really use all of these tools.
Great. Thanks so much, Kaushik.
We'll
I
use
hope
a lot
this,
of examples. I mean, sorry.
yeah.
We'll use a lot of examples. Like just at the start of the program, I spoke about using the Indian cricket team, using EA Sports, using Manchester United. And, if the kids want to also use their own favorite, I don't know, soap opera, or they want to use their own favorite books and use these tools on that, then, hey, we're right here to guide them through that process.
Sounds fantastic. Thank you, Kaushik, for this intro to the VIP program. I'd also like to address, so what we've tried to do in here is explain to you the structure of the program, the timing of the program, and bring in some of the mentors who will be giving very interesting projects in different sectors to students so that they learn the skills and also have deliverables. You've seen some of the projects can be quite daunting. They want strategic analysis done. They want the beach company is one of the biggest, Asia's biggest e-commerce platform for holiday wear. So, they expect students to have certain amount of skill sets to deliver these kind of projects to them, including Facebook and including Mita's company, which is doing a fantastic job working with governments, right? I think one of the key questions that does come up then is, in internship, why should we pay for it? Why are we paying for an internship, which is, even if you have to pay something, why are we doing that? I like to answer that question to primarily say that when you're doing an internship, one, if it was absolutely free, the level of commitment of the student goes down. Everything, if there is a cost attached to it, the student's commitment becomes higher, and they then do a better job of reaching out. Two, the program is practical and theoretical, and therefore we have mentors as well as teachers who have taken time to teach the program and then have to be paid for their time. You are right now learning skill sets to make you viable. Therefore, the program has a nominal cost to it, to make sure that you learn the skills, but learn the skills that gives you the capacity in case for your next internship, or when you show that this is the kind of work I've done, you've developed a project report, you get a certificate. At the end of that, when you go into another company, whether it is 2 years down the line or whether it is next year, you have the ability to say, these are the skills I've learned, this is the kind of project I've delivered, this is my previous certificate or letter from my referee, and therefore I am now viable, and you can then earn the right to earn the money, right? You have to earn the right to earn the money. Right now, you are all learners. You are in the learning process, and therefore a nominal charge has been put because the practical experience that you're getting along with the theoretical learning. It's a balance of two. I hope I've answered all questions.
Sonam, just one thing. Many
Sure.
students have been asking that do we have to declare which sector or which project that we want to do when we join?
No, they don't. That if they want to, they can declare it ahead. But the whole point is to go through a basic pre-training get some idea of what a virtual internship is like, what is an internship all about, and then we will teach them the basic tools, after which we will ask them, now that you've got a basic understanding, these are the different projects in detail, this is what they want from you, this is the skill set they want from you, now give us your top 3 choices, and you can get your, definitely I guarantee that you will get your top 3 choices. It might not be the first, depending on the number of students per sector that we can adjust, but basically the aim is to provide you with the top 3 choices. But you don't have to declare your interest in the beginning, because I know it's a vast field. There's so many different interesting projects that have come up, and you might want to do 2 or 3 of them. So we will go through a pre-training process and allow you to get into the whole idea of internships, learn some basic skills, and then put you off into the different projects and work with mentors over the weekends. Vijay, does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you so much.
One more thing. Because the students are going to prepare these reports and they are also going to present it to the entire class, they are going to get a lot of exposure to whatever their top 3 choices was. So even if you do get just 1 out of the 3, you're still going to get a lot of learnings about the other 2 as well. So even if your choice wasn't what, even if you didn't get choice number 1, at the end of the 2 weeks, you can go ahead and use those tools and apply them to choice number 1 on your own time as well. Nobody's going to stop you from doing that. So let's not get lost in that. Did I get my choice? Am I not going to get my choice? Because an important part of this is peer-to-peer learning. You're going to learn from what your classmates are also going to be doing.
Great. That's great. That's a great insight. Thanks, Kaushik. So like we have always been known to do, and throughout all our presentations, we have always kept to time. And we would like to thank Kaushik for coming online. We started at 4:30 and it is exactly our time to say bye now. I hope it was informative. You've got enough information to make this decision, and you should sign in from the things which have been posted on the chat group. If you have further questions, you can write into me or Manvi or Bijal or Dr. Jen. We'd be happy to answer. If you want to pick up the phone and ask further questions, especially parents or students, please do that. But I guarantee that this is going to be an extremely interactive program. It is going to be extremely full of anecdotes, examples, fun, at the same time skill building and learning, which was exactly the aim of this program. So thanks, Kaushik. And it's going to be really fun because the kind of ideas that Kaushik has will make sure that the examples are contemporary and can be quite relatable for students. And he's planned this entire thing for a high school and a college audience. So I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. So thank you everybody for coming. I hope we've answered all your questions. Thank you, counselors and from different schools, students and parents. And have a good evening. And thanks for joining us today.
Thank you everyone for being here.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.